I'm starting the teardown on the Sheldon today, and I've done a few videos on this. I've had it sitting for a couple of years now, and the reality is I'm putting off a lot of finishing up some of my projects because the Sheldon that I'm currently working on is just showing enough wear. I can still get good parts out of it, but I have to work at it, and I don't like to work that hard at it. So consequently, a lot of those projects like milling machine index centers that I cast and built, I need to turn a spindle for them, spindle and a tailstock ram, and they would be done, and I just have put them off. There's several projects like that that I'd like a little more precision out of right off of the lathe, rather than having to really work at them to get them the way I want them. So I've already pulled the gearbox off of this, and this morning I've already polished up the bore a little bit right in through here and stuck a dial indicator on there. You know, we all say that our machines are in excellent condition, and this one's obviously not, but wear on it actually looks pretty good. I've got only about half a thou run out in the spindle bore with initial test. Now that may change as time goes on and we start doing stuff, we may. But as I just polish off the grunge from inside and run a dial test indicator, about half a thou to a thou is all I'm seeing for run out. And it's, you know, close to a half a thou is about all that it's doing. The bedways themselves, I thought this was going to be a major operation, and it may still turn out to be. I've got there's a little bit of one kind of a long gouge along there, and there's some chuck marks. You know, I've got a whack here, and there's a scrape down here on this flat and stuff. I can't really tell because it's grungy and dirty on top, but you know, I've run a dial test indicator, but it really doesn't tell me anything. It's, you know, a few thou, but like I say, we've got crap down through here and kind of bare metal there, and once it's cleaned up, I will start running some tests and see what we've really got. But looking at like the flat on the top of the front V, it's pretty consistent all the way along, so it may not have a whole lot of wear. Now this somebody had started kind of hacking on before I got it, and there's some things that have been done that aren't real, you know, just from mounting the compound. Why, this is an actual stud that goes in here. This is just a carriage bolt they've got. The handles are all grungy and yucky, and the one on the tailstock's got a chip out of it, and whether those are actually factory or not, I don't know. I've got the lead screw bearing that goes on the end down here. It's the proper lead screw bearing, but the color's different, so I tend to believe this was acquired from someplace else. And when I got it, the lead screw was loose. Nothing was affixed. So there's some issues in there. It's stiff and everything. Today, my goal today is the tailstock's just sitting on there. I'm going to pull it off. I want to get the apron and the top slide off, so the bed's pretty well stripped. And if I have time and I'm so motivated, I'm going to start dropping the drivetrain out from, or the drive assembly down from underneath, and pull the headstock. So once I've got the bed stripped down to just the bed, I'm going to go ahead and unbolt it from the cabinet, and of course the cabinet's going to get redone. I want to rebuild the drive system on it, and everything on the machine itself that needs to be addressed we're going to, but we're going to straighten up the bottom of the cabinet. We need one latch to go on the door there. And this is going to get sandblasted off and painted, and I don't know, I may send it out and have it powder coated. I'm probably just going to put a good quality paint on it. We'll probably put a good spray on poly paint on it, and give something that's going to protect it without the expense of powder coat, although I'll have a fair amount of money in polyurethane paints on this too. The rest of it sounds relatively good, looks pretty grungy, all rusty. We're going to have to come up with replacement reproduction plates for on top. Running it, I've lubed up the headstock itself, but that's basically all I've done. So got some noise there, but a lot of the noise is coming from the drive system down below. I haven't done anything with the drive system itself. So once it's rebuilt, and I'm not going to grease it for the little bit that I'm playing with it here, because I don't want the mess. So back gear, it's a little bit noisier. Don't have any broken teeth on the back gear. I see one's chipped here on one inside corner, but it's all complete, no chipped teeth on the bull gear. So relatively good shape. There's no detent on the forward reverse engagement on it, so in reverse why it jumps out of gear type of thing. But those are all things to be addressed. Like I say, I've already got the gearbox off, and somebody'd started playing with it. The one roll pin was partially pushed out, wouldn't engage right, and I don't know exactly what they've done, but I've got the gearing for the end of it. So relatively complete. So anyway, like I say, I just wanted to kind of run it for you so you could hear what was going on. I'm going to videotape a lot of this stuff. Some may find it interesting, some may not. I'm doing it as much to document how it came apart and how it's going to go back together as much as anything else for my own use. I am at a little bit of an advantage over a lot of people that are trying to rebuild a machine, because I've got this exact same machine that I'm working off of now. So if I'm looking at something that doesn't seem to be assembled right or want to go together right, why, I can compare it to my other machine. So advantage I've got. But there are a few things I see. I believe this is just a seal that's supposed to be in that, retained by that cap. Maybe not though, those are both floating in there. But other than being dirty, grungy, and going to need quite a bit of work, why, I think it's a solid machine to build off of. So anyway, I'm going to drag out some tools. I'm going to let the camera run, and you know, if you find something useful here, why, so much the better. There again, the advantage of videotape and everything, I can look and see exactly how things came apart and how they're going back together. No. See, now that's the question before we loosen the gibs, is that that wear or is that just gunk built up? And I guess we won't know until we get it all cleaned up and start playing with it again. But see, that nut's actually broken off of there for that gib screw. Starting to get in the sunlight. I was hoping to get part of this done before it got real sunny out. Yeah, see, we'd like to get rid of part of that backlash, most of that backlash if we can. Alright, so what else do we got here? Somebody just stuck a flange nut on here. There's a key that goes in there, of course. Oh, come on. Nut, washer, okay. This one is reverse on our clutch. This is where guys will jam these up and get all screwed up and they can't release their clutch assembly and stuff. So it's got the different direction threads, left-handed threads. And then the rest of this won't come off until we get the apron on. So let's leave this here for now. You turn left to engage your clutch assembly. Once it tightens down while it engages your clutch, turn it right to release it. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull the bolts off of the back. Yeah, see where I said this has been worked on before? These are already loose. Okay, and that's the way they mount. I guess it's pretty much self-explanatory. We don't have any shims in there at this point in time. We've just got washers and then adjustments. Now I do have a taper attachment on the other machine that I will probably go ahead and fit up to this one, because the other machine's going to become, and I've said it before, but it's going to become strictly a turret machine. So I'm going to rob quite a few parts off of it to go on this machine. When we do it, that will actually give me a second tail stock, which will probably get converted if I don't build a completely different tail stock for a rack style tail stock, lever operated. See, that one's loose too, so why is that loose? And why are we not? That's not engaged in anything down there. I'm not sure what's going on with that one. And this one, I believe, should release our apron, which that lead screw will come out with the apron. And there we have the apron and the lead screw. So if we just flip this on down here and eyeball this whole thing, this is the back side. These are our half nuts. And this is what engages our feed for our clutch assembly. All nice and dry in here. I would like to get this lead screw out of here. I think it needs to come out the other way. Half nuts out of the way. Okay, so let's go ahead take our clutch assembly out of here. See, that's pretty well galled up inside. We've got a detent ball that's either out of position or busted or something like that. So we'll leave that. Let's go ahead and disassemble the back of this gearbox. And see if that gets us into the back end. Apron off of our top slide off of here. Let's put it here. Let's put it here. Oh, I guess we won't put it there. Okay. Now I'm going to assume, which may be a mistake, that these bolts are all the same length. And yes, I could go get a air gun to do this, but am I in really a big hurry today? Alright, the reason for recording while we're doing this. These two bottom bolts here, actually they're on the top, on the right hand end. These are longer than all the rest of them. Now whether it really makes a difference or not, I don't know, but they are. So we'll just document that, and that's the way they go. So now with those undone, back of that will come off just like that, and that still does not release our lead screw. So what I'm thinking is that the lead screw itself is just dry enough, galled enough that it's not wanting to come loose. So for right now, I'm not going to worry about it. We're going to leave it right there. Once we get it inside and get it torn apart, well, then we'll look at it a little bit closer. But we'll just set it there and out of the way for right now. Half nuts sit down in here. We're not going to go ahead and pull them out. And all the rest of the gearing will go in there. We're not going to disassemble that yet either. So we'll set it right down in here like that. Oh, I think we get it low enough in there. We need to pull that lever off. So if we set this up here like this, half nuts fall out. Let's go ahead and pull our clutch assembly off. Get that out. And this one comes out. And that's the way that's what our clutch assembly looks like right here. It sits down in there, and we've got two cones that work together. See, once those are all cleaned up, like I say, it looks like there's a detent ball or something. We'll put those together just like that. And we can probably put this back on here just for posterity so we know how it goes too. And it's left-handed threads. So just to clarify, when this is running, when you turn it counterclockwise to loosen it, those freewheel. To engage that friction clutch, when you tighten it, why it engages it, we'll disengage it. Engage, disengage. There we go. Half nuts might actually look pretty good. I'm not sure yet. Now we'll sit down in here without that on there. And it will. We'll put that down and out of the way. Okay, so there's everything off the front with the exception of the rack, which we'll pull later. We do need to get that lead screw out of there. I'm going to wait and get that inside and into a vise so I can hold on to it. So now I think we can probably go ahead and go down and start disengaging that drive system. I don't care if I get the drive system out today. What I do want to do is be able to get the belts off. So I like the wonderful wiring we've got here. We're not going to use this motor anyway. We're going to switch this over to a 3-phase with a VFD like we have on the other Sheldon. And I'll put, you know, this is probably quarter or a half horse, probably about a half horse motor on here. We'll change that out and put something a little more substantial on there. I think I'm running about a horse and a half on the other machine. And I'd like to do the same on this one. So we got that out of the way. Oh. Yeah, we're pretty stiff here with everything. So I think we're gonna have to lube this up a little bit. Let me move this over a little bit so I get a better view going what's going on down in there. Now my plan is once I get this bed off and stripped down to nothing, I'll probably go ahead and hit it with a pressure washer and clean it up as best I can right there, and kind of scrub down the ways and stuff to get a better idea of what they look like. But then I'm going to I'm probably going to take the bed, and I don't know if I'll leave the feet on or not, but I'm going to set it on the planer. And I don't believe I'm going to plane on it there, but I feel like that's the best fairly level reference that I've got. So that's going to be the reason for doing that. Let me get a bigger crescent wrench here. I guess probably the easiest way to get this drive system out, I want to get the belts off is the main thing I'm after. Once I get the belts off, I can go ahead and get the headstock off. And that's my main thing for the day, is to see if I can't get that headstock off of there. The outside belt, or that goes to the very inside between the belts that go to the headstock and the, I guess those are the counter shaft bolts there. So if we do that, let's see, we're missing the knob that goes on here. Kind of rough. We'll have this whole assembly out and we'll kind of bench test it as we go along here. go. The collar's nice and galled up. Of course, the other side's nice and galled up too. Probably saw grease a few years ago. So, this might be quite the adventure. See a hunk out of one of these pulleys where sometimes somebody probably pounded on it pretty good. Too big. There we go. The other one. Okay, let's see if we can keep from breaking any more of the pulley. Okay, well, that one's not wanting to come off yet anyway. So let's okay, we got grease zerks on there, and then we've got a little cone wedge on the pulley here. I was going to spend the afternoon working on airplanes, and I probably still will, but I wanted to get started on this because There's one of the bolts. This is all hung on a shaft that runs completely through this base. It's got a couple of collars to keep it centered, but then it's also got a at least one set screw that's kind of set into the goofy angle in the edge of the shaft to keep it from rotating and hold it in place. Assuming it's the same as the other lathe. Long-winded, and there's not room to get a socket in there. It's too close to the hanger. Oh, there's another one. Oh. I would have pounded on that and discovered eventually after I broke something that there was at least 3 of these block bolts to wedge it in there. Okay, only 3 of them. There we go. There may just be enough room to get that to release, I'm hoping, with that pulley still on there. Oh, now the pulley's going to release too, it acts like. Yeah. There we go. It's a puzzle. It's a puzzle. Puzzle. Okay, so there's our upper pulley. There's our key that goes in it. Oh, there's our half. That's our half nut bolt. Let me put that in so I don't lose it. Okay. So there's that. Oh, no. We don't want to wedge those back together because then they won't slide on the shaft. How about if we do this? Okay, well, one way or another it's going to go out of there. I'm not sure which one. But we have to let it down a little bit so our bolt will line up in the... There we go. Okay, so here's our wedge collar. pulley with our key in there. And then this is our shaft. So look at how beat up that is right there. Somebody's done something goofy there. Okay, so this will set on here like this. This key will set in here. This goes on here. Just like that. This wedges on there just like that with our 3 bolts holding on. And the tighter you tighten them, the harder it wedges in there and locks onto the shaft. On the outside, this is the collar that goes on there. Don't worry about that too much. On this side, we've got the other keyway, or the other key. There's the hump that somebody busted out of the pulley originally. Come on now. Come on. Huh. The only reason I'm going to all this hassle is I don't want to lose track of how it goes back together. Okay, and we have no pieces left over. That will sit in there, so let's put it in a drawer. Fit in that drawer. Okay, less chance of losing that. Now, I think that's all I'm going to worry about taking out of there right now. Let's go ahead and get this headstock off of here. Because we have our belts right here that will come off with it. Okay, we got 2 bolts here. And we've got 2 anchor bolts here. And we've got a guard bracket on the back, but we don't have to take that off yet. There we go. has to even come off. I think the whole thing will just slide right out. And this will, like all my other projects, this will be slow going because these will be, each of them treated as independent parts. And we've got a mounting bracket back here. Looks like for the electrical. Yeah, so let's go ahead and separate those. Looks like we've got one here. Two there. Two there, it looks like. All right, so here's where we are at this point in time. I have got everything stripped off of it. Hit it with a pressure washer, just cold water to get most of the crap off of it. So I'm going to let it sit and dry. I got a little water down in the drawers and stuff, so we're going to let them drain out, probably down onto the other. It's warm enough day to day that hopefully that'll all dry itself out yet today. But all in all, not too bad. Like I said, we got some gouges here. I see a pretty big scrape down through here that's not a bearing surface anyway. But you know, we'll get set up and start running some tests on it here in the next week or so, and just go ahead and let it sit on the planer for a few days and kind of settle itself in and see if it's gonna be halfway flat and all that good stuff. But all in all, I'm not too disappointed in it. Once I get this off and get set in, why, I'll start pulling the drawers off and start working on the cabinet a little bit. I got oh, there's some dinks down on the bottom edge where the drive system goes. I still have to pull the drive out and get that out and start working on it. The electrical that was on it's just hanging back here. Like I say, that'll all change, and whatever angle iron piece that they'd welded on with their outlet box and stuff, I'll take it off. I do have a new digital readout to go on this. You know, it's been sitting there in the packaging. I haven't felt the need to try and mount it on the old Sheldon because I knew it was going to go, you know, I'm going to set it up on this one. So we'll set this one up, have the taper attachment on the other Sheldon. I'll probably fit it to this. We'll see how it wants to set on there and everything, because they were individual to the, they were built with the lathes. So we'll see if it will adapt and align itself there when we get that far. But like I say, we've knocked off all the loose paint on this. This will all get cleaned off and repainted, of course. A few little things that I will probably do on this end and on the headstock end where the castings go. This one goes directly down into the feet. So if you get a bunch of crap or even just dust and stuff settling on your machine, while all that junk sits down in underneath this base. Guess we can put it down here so you can see it. All that junk settles right in here and goes right into this base. So I will probably shield that. There's room to where you can, I could plate over the top of that foot and it will still go out the front of the webbing in the casting, so it would make it down into the drip pan. Same way on this end. This isn't as bad, but crap can get up here, so we'll probably just go ahead and do a piece of shielding up in here. Like I say, not as big a deal on this end. It's going to go down into the drive system if anything settles in. But there's still some gunk to be cleaned off and all that. But then the bed's what I'm mainly concerned about at this point in time. We'll see how close it is, and I would imagine at the very minimum it's going to get scraped in. So that's where we're at. Anyway, hopefully you find it a little bit interesting. Comments, suggestions, leave them in the comment section for me below. And until you see the next installment of this, thanks for taking the time to watch, guys.